we're in Sacramento, California. Yesterday, we had a friend of mine, somebody I've known for over a decade, a very successful real estate person come in, and they thought about hiring a virtual assistant. They're like, we need help in marketing. And I said, okay, well, let's look at what's your marketing program? What kind of emails are you doing? What are you doing to your sphere? You know, what have you captured and what's your SEO look like? And we started going down that path. And ultimately, I put the brakes on them because they didn't have a system or a process to generate high caliber leads. So it's great timing that you're here with us today, James, because I think this is one of the biggest areas where you can add value to our audience. The conversation, though, is big data and how to leverage technology to help drive leads. So let's dive right into that topic, and let's get started in educating our folks about, you know, what you guys do.
Right. So when it comes to big data and predictive analytics and AI and machine learning, you know, they're great buzzwords in obviously Silicon Valley, but
yeah,
there's the data and information's always been out there, right? It's just now it's a little bit more advanced.
Got it.
And we want to be able to educate the marketplace about the different information that's available to them and how they can act on it, right?
Okay.
So, for instance, I get a lot of real estate agents coming to me, and then when I ask, oh, where's your farm? You know, who's your farming, and how big is your farm? You know, how's your turnover rate? And a lot of these questions, I get answers that are not satisfactory. For instance, oh, I'm just farming, you know, a couple zip code around where I live or around my office. Oh, you know, I farmed a little bit and it didn't work, so I stopped. So it's just like always these answers that, okay, well, let me first tell you the first step about starting a farm, right?
Yep.
You could go and do the traditional farm and send out, you know, mailers to 500 homes or 1,000 homes, and hope somebody will call or somebody will go to your website and put, you know, the information so you can capture the lead. Yep. That's what most agents do.
Yep.
The first step, I would say, figure out what your turnover rate in whichever inventory or farm you want to go after. Don't just go after anything, because I've also had real estate agents say, I want to go after Newport Beach because it's on the beach, or Laguna Beach. Well, you know, I mean, first of all, how is the inventory looking out there, right? Is there enough inventory for you to go after? Yes, there's multi-million homes down there, but are they selling? How is the turnover rate in that farm?
Well, and I would want to add something too. I was just reading, I think it was in the Wall Street Journal, you know, people used to move every 7 years, and now the trend is every 13 to 15 years. I don't know if anybody's, you know, read that article. I think it was just last weekend, actually. And so what happened is, you know, if you want to know, you know, the Great Recession kind of slapped all of us in the face a bit. And now what's happening is people, you know, the inventory is so tight, there's not a lot of homes out there to buy. So people who would normally trade up or trade down just aren't doing it. So
Correct.
That's why I think it's so valuable. What you're sharing here is, one, get your farm, figure out what your area is and how many people are in it. How big should a farm be, James, if to effectively go after?
I'll get to that, but it shouldn't be 500. It should be 1,000 plus.
Okay.
It should be 1,000 plus, but I'm going to get into that in a second. So that's where I'm trying to get to. So first of all, figure out your farm, figure out your turnover rate. So the turnover rate must be over 7%. That's the first equation. So you want to go after a farm where the turnover rate is over 7%.
Every year?
Yes. Annual turnover rate is 7% plus.
What if my farm isn't that high? What if it only turns over 3 or 4 times?
Then look for a wider farm. Look for a wider geographical area.
Okay,
then your turnover rate will start increasing.
Got it.
Okay. So, and then the next thing is you got to look at the competition. How many real estate agents are in that farm, right? And out of those agents, how many of them are actually dominating like 20, 30, 40, 50% of this? Is there one agent taking 50% of that inventory? If that's the case, then obviously you're competing with one agent plus all the other ones that trying to take that 50% share.
Yep.
So those two metrics are very important. So that's the first thing I tell my agents when they call me. Okay, find out your farm, find out the turnover rate, and then find out your competitors. That's the first thing. Once you find out your competitors, you need to spy on your competitors.
Okay.
Right? What is this person taking the 50% out of that market doing? Right? So that's when I say, sit down, figure out what they're doing daily. If you don't want to do this, hire someone like a virtual assistant. You know, hey, John Smith in this zip code is a top producer. I want you to figure out what he does every single day. Where does he post? Does he post on social media? What kind of content does he post? How's the engagement rates on those content? And the content that seems to be trending, tell me about them.
Yes.
Then this way we can go and do a better job at this content and share. Is this person sharing videos? Let's do that. Is this person sending out direct mail? Let's do that. What is this person doing? So spying on the competitor is highly critical. And oftentimes you'll see like they're either doing like a Yelp advertisement, Zillow advertisement. So they always do multiple things, right? The combination differs. Some people will farm consistently for like all the time, and then also do like Facebook ads, and those the two channels like work best for them. That's fine. Other people are actually doing paid ads on social media and Google and Zillow and so on, and then they're also like doing email marketing. So subscribe, go to their site, subscribe to their newsletter, see what they're sending out as emails. Are they sending out like direct drip campaigns to their customers? So figure out what your competitors are doing in terms of marketing. And
hold on. I want to slow you down. I want to slow you down because you're an expert, and I know it is good. What you're sharing is good, but I want to help our audience really understand this, because this is such a big need in our industry, is understanding how to effectively leverage big data and generate listing leads, right? So what are the categories? What are the 4 or 5 categories that I need to spy on my competition and effectively measure what they're doing? So just give us the 4 or 5 categories.
So the first step, when you're going to MLS and you're pulling, the sales that happened in last year, you can like sort by the real estate agent, presenting agent. So you're gonna find out that some real estate agent closed 5 out of 20 sales, or whatever the number is. You're gonna say, oh, this real estate agent is doing really well. Okay, well, the first thing you're going to do is go to google.com and Google the name, John Smith.
So the first category is like how they're showing up in Google, like search and content.
Because a potential buyer or a potential seller, that's the first thing they're going to do.
Okay.
They're going to get a flyer. They're going to see an ad. I'm going to Google John Smith Realtor in my area. Right. And the first thing they're going to see is their Google My Business listing. And then they're going to see like their website, their LinkedIn, their Yelp, their Zillow. And that's usually the first page of Google. Tells you so much about the real estate agent that's actually competing with you.
Perfect.
If you don't have Google My Business, you must have that. If you don't have a Yelp with 5-star review, you must have that. If you don't have a LinkedIn that's super optimized and actually asking for business and sharing some articles you wrote, directing back to blog, like there's this other optimization that happens on all your listings like Yelp, Zillow, LinkedIn. Technically you want to optimize your online presence. So you do that by looking at the successful people, and you learn what they're doing, and you
emulate them, you model them,
you emulate them.
Okay, so category 1 is SEO presence, online presence in all the important kind of portals. What's the next place to look at what they're doing? Their
website. What's happening on their website. So like a similarweb.com or spyfoo.com. You put their URL, and it tells you like the ranking of their site, who's mentioning them, who's linking to them, how the website is optimized, what articles are ranking better than others on their blog. So you go to basically spy on their website, look at their website, what they're doing. And I often teach my real estate agents, hey, look, if I'm a home buyer or a home seller and I'm Googling your name and you did all this optimization, the website comes up. I go to your website. The first thing I'm going to do is look for your About You page. I want to know
Right.
who you are, right?
Yeah.
And I go to the About page, and it's just the broiler-based, about the company. Oh, we are a real estate company. We offer real estate services, blah, 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 blah. Okay,
Yep.
well, that's not really personal, and it doesn't tell me anything. Separate yourself. I
Right.
always tell them, look, create a biography. Like, tell them who you are, tell them your history, why you're in the business, why are you so passionate about real estate. Write an executive summary, your profession, what kind of success you had, who did you work for, how long you've been in the business, why should I work with you, executive summary.
What you specialize in, what your secret sauce is. Yeah, I love that.
There you go.
So the number two is use a tool like SpyFu. I like SpyFu.
Right.
Or something similar to spy on their website. Okay, exactly. So 1 is SEO, 2 is website. You said subscribe to email. Is that the third one?
So no, when you're actually going to Google and Googling their name, their website is going to come up.
Right.
So John Smith, Realtor Top Producers site comes up. I go to his website.
Yep.
Subscribe to newsletter. I put my email address. It doesn't have to be my real estate email address. It could be any, Hotmail or Gmail, whatever email address. Whatever. You want your competitor to know who you are, right? So you subscribe to their newsletter. And then they're going to be putting you on a weekly, monthly, some type of a drip campaign. Okay, well, that's content. Right. They're sending me content right to my inbox. So if anything stands out to me, I can go hire a virtual assistant to rewrite the content for me and put it on my website.
Right. Okay, so that's good. So, all right, we got 3. What's the other category to kind of look at?
So
when you're doing a competitive analysis of who's in the marketplace.
So once you have your inventory and you have your spying on the competitors, you want to build your online presence. So we talked about online presence, right? So now you want to set up your technical or technology infrastructure. And this is really where it comes into, the success comes into play. Okay. So in chapter 6 in my book, I think it's like 36 pages about all the different technologies that you need to set up. Yep. So first of all, part of what we talked about, make sure your website's set up correctly, putting all your bio, your executive summary, etc. on the website. Yep. That helps you ranking. But then, when people go to the site, okay, for instance, have a chat box on your site, right? Have a Facebook pixel installed, LinkedIn pixel installed, YouTube, Google. All these pixels need to be installed so you can track people and show them ads if you decide to do paid ads. Have like session recordings so you can see videos of what people are doing. That helps in conversion rate optimization. Make sure you have all your like what else can you have on there? So you've got your tracking pixels, you've got your chat for Messenger, you've got your session recordings. So these are different technologies that you gotta have in place. Also, you want to make sure you have your forms, connected with your CRM. You want to make sure you sync everything so let's say.
All right, I'm gonna slow you down again. Okay, so let's dive into paid real quick, because you said some stuff that like drop a pixel and do paid. What we found is we hired an actual agency to help us with paid, because even though, we have a lot of folks who are really great at real estate, we have a marketing team, like that wasn't a skill set that we had internal. How would you help, or what would you say a real estate person ought to do in the paid piece of their business? Okay, so the real estate agent doesn't really have to do this, because some type of programmer or someone that knows code needs to install those different pixels. Yep. So if I understand your question, what does a real estate agent need to do in order to accomplish a successful paid ad strategy? Yeah. So in our world, and I'm just asking you for your advice around this, but everybody talks about, I generated 100 leads on Facebook, and every time I hear that, I'm like, I don't know. Like, so let's break that down. Let's break that down. Yeah. Okay. So the step that we're talking about right now, setting up technology infrastructure. Yes. Okay. So you have to have your
entire technology in place, like your entire system. And this is really the merit of this book. So
Yep.
you have to build some type of a growth system that makes your real estate firm thrive and succeed without you having to be a huge part of the system, right?
Right.
So having your CRMs in place, your email marketing, your SMS, the pixels in place, all that needs to be in place and installed on your site, because at the end of the day, everybody is going to be directed to your website, because that's what technology is all about. You want to funnel all your awareness efforts to go to your website. Awareness efforts like SEO, paid ads, social media sharing, blogging, like all these other efforts that you're trying to do, like brand awareness and try to generate leads, they need to go some type of a landing page or your website. And on
So
that,
what I'm hearing is everything that I do in marketing should pull people back to my website.
correct.
Why?
Because you need to be able to track conversions, and you can't track that unless somebody goes to somewhere where you can actually measure who's coming and who's converting.
Right.
And you can't do that unless you have your Google, analytics. You have the different technologies that I mentioned. I mean, I can't go through the 200 technologies that I mentioned here, but at the very least, you should have Google Analytics installed.
Yep.
You should have your website connected to Google Webmaster to rank it real well. And then you should have Facebook Pixel, you should have Google Pixel and LinkedIn Pixel, Twitter, whichever platform you decide to market on. But let me answer your question.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the next step. Let's suppose you set up your Google Pixel, your Facebook Pixel. Let's make it very simple.
Yep.
From the technology infrastructure, do set up Google and Facebook. Okay. Yep. And make sure you have a CRM in place and somehow some type of email marketing system in place. Okay?
That's the bare minimum.
That's the bare minimum. You must have Google and Facebook pixels, and you must have a CRM and email marketing system in place. That's the bare minimum.
Bare minimum. Got it.
Okay, out of this stuff, if you don't get anything, just make sure those 4 pieces are in place.
Cool.
The next thing you want to do, okay, is where big data comes in.
Yes.
So often real estate agents will go and say, I'm going to source some phone numbers from REDX or Barclays. I'm just going to dial.
Yep.
Or I'm going to farm this area. I'm just going to hit 500 pieces to all these 500 homes, and I'm going to farm this area.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to do some paid ads on Facebook. So you get all these sporadic different ideas or tactics in place. Yeah. And then a real estate agent runs them for a week or 2 or a month or 2. And then they spend $1,000 and they say, oh, this is not working for me.
Right.
Okay. Well, I know why. One, your source of data is not very targeted.
Right.
You can go and say, in my farm, there are 1,000 homes. I'm just going to go ahead and mail to 1,000 homes. Now you're actually spending money on whatever the cost of 1,000 flyers or mailers, whatever.
Right. So
that's not really the best way to approach this. In predictive analytics, there is something called, false positive and false negative, and then the probability. I don't want to get too technical, but in layman terms, you could say, hey, if I assume all these 1,000 homes in my farm are potential sellers, obviously that's not 100% accurate. And I'm going to say, I'm assuming all these 1,000 homes, none of them is a potential seller. That's also not accurate. So big data and predictive analytics, where the machine learning comes into place, they try to get away from the false positive, they're all true, and the false negative, they're all negative, meaning that they're all sellers or they're all non-sellers, all towards the probability of how many of those 1,000 are actually potential sellers. Right. So they're getting rid of the errors, if you will, right? And they're giving you, out of this 1,000 homes in this farm, there could potentially be 100 sellers in the next 12 months, right? So this is really the secret sauce. You don't want to market to 1,000. You just want to go pick that 100.
So how do we get that? That's the question. That's why you're here today.
Exactly. So I always advise my clients to go to Remine or ProspectNow. ProspectNow and Remine, they've already taken all these data and they did all these analytics on it and the machine learning, and they're already gotten narrow. So instead of you marketing on Facebook to 1,000 homes, or instead of you farming 1,000 homes, or instead of you calling 1,000 people, they're already telling you who's potentially to be a seller and who's potentially to be a buyer. So you go to Remine, which is part of the
Remine is a client of ours. The CEO and founder is a brilliant guy. Yeah, Leo Perea. He's a good dude, and not only is he probably one of the sharpest minds in real estate, but his tool is typically something that we get for free, or it's very low cost because all the MLSs pay for it. It's part of your dues.
Yep.
And yet I never, ever, ever hear of anybody actually using that platform.
I don't know why.
And it's such a great platform. So if you went into, so I want to break it down for the audience, because if you don't know how it works, like Leo actually personally gave me a tour of it several years ago when he was building it. And what you can do is you can sort by all the houses, by how long they've been there, what the mortgage is, you know, who owns it, whether it's a residence that the owner actually lives in it, or it's an investor home. So, I mean, you can get all the data that is like secret sauce stuff, and then specifically target those people. So James, you're
exactly
spot on.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So you export the likely to be a seller or the likely to be a buyer, or both of them.
Yep.
Right. And you take that data. Now, Remine, also you can pay extra money to get the contact information from the list. So you can get the emails and phone numbers for those potential buyers and sellers. Obviously, the real estate agent's instant thought is like, oh, cool, I'm going to start emailing these people, or I'm going to start calling these people. Well, no, hold on. Don't do that, because you don't want to do that and piss off the people.
They're not ready right now.
They're not ready. And also there could be some legal issues with that. You know, you want to make sure you take that data first. So step number one when it comes to big data is collecting the right data. And that's really what I give. My message to the audience is like, don't just go and advertise to everyone under the sun. Make sure you know who you're targeting. So Remine made it super easy for you. Go pull the people that are going to be likely sellers and buyers, or ProspectNow. Both platforms give you the same data. You pull that data, okay, and you take that data and collect. And I always advise my clients to pull about 6,000 contacts, actually. 6,000 contacts.
Because your audience, you want to be able to dump them into Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, and you need a big enough audience in order to do that.
So after a while, I figured out the numbers. And when you actually take out less than 6,000, your closing ratio wouldn't be as satisfactory. So agents want to close 4 to 6, sometimes 8 transactions a month. And in order to get that number, I mean, depends on the area, but I figured the sweet spot is about 6,000 contacts.
Yep.
And so you take 6,000 contacts.
Yep.
The next step is to enrich the data. Even if you were to pay Remine to give you phone numbers and email addresses, 40 to 60% usually has the information, and the rest doesn't. So about 50% don't have information. So you don't want to just like ignore them. Obviously, we want to target those people too. So you hire a virtual assistant. Your company, you know, my Desk would be perfect. You hire a virtual assistant. They go and append the data for you.
What does append? I'm a real estate broker. What does append the data mean?
You know, first name, last name, and an address has no phone number and email addresses. By finding the phone numbers and email addresses and then adding them to the list, that's called appending data to your list.
Would you use a system to do that, or would you just?
Yeah, you can use datafinder.com to upload a list in bulk. And they will find or match your records. All you need to give them first name, last name, and an address. And Remine, even a title rep would give you that information if you don't want to use Remine. But obviously Remine, the point is because they do predictive analytics on that data, a title rep can't do that. Then you would have to manually say, hey, give me everybody that bought 6 years ago at 5% interest rate with equity this much. Then you would have to manually tell them what you want to give you that list. But even though there's no predictive analytics done on that list, so the success ratio with a title company giving you the list is less than what Remine or ProspectNow would yield.
Okay, so we've gotten the basic infrastructure, we've upgraded our SEO, we have an email system, we went after the data with Remine, we've appended that list with a virtual assistant. It's all loaded into, our website has pixels now for all the social media stuff. Give us now the plan of attack, James.
So before you get to see, that's why you can't, not yet. Not
Well,
yet.
but we only
The
have
email.
10 more minutes to get. We only have 10 more minutes,
Oh,
so I want to
okay.
make
All
sure that
right.
we're
Once you get that, you validate the data. So phone numbers and email addresses, you got to go to like zero bounds and validate the data. Data Finder also validates the data. So you get all the emails and the phone numbers validated. And then after that, you normalize the data. So a person could have 2 emails or 2 phone numbers.
Yep.
When you put it in the CRM, they usually send an email to the first email as a primary and they ignore the second one. So normalizing the data is saying John Smith with the email 1, John Smith email 2. Then you have 2 records for
Right.
John Smith, 2 emails. Then this way, when you upload the data into a custom audience, you're uploading John Smith twice because he has 2 emails because you don't know which one he's using.
Right.
So that's from data validation to data normalization and then data sanitization.
Sanitization.
Sanitization, that's when you go upload your list to like data 24/7 to make sure you remove all the do not call phone numbers off the list. That's when you go upload, the data into zero bounds and you remove all the invalid email addresses from your list.
Okay, hold on, because this is really important, because we have clients all the time who hire us to prospect for them. And that is one of the biggest on our contract. And if you're listening right now, and if you have one of our virtual assistants, James is giving you gold right here. But you have to make sure that the list that you're calling is not on the do not call list.
Correct.
I think it's a $10,000 violation every single
16,000, I believe.
Yeah, it's huge. And guess what? We don't pay it. My outdesk will not pay it. You will as the agent. So what are the 2 systems to remove we call it scrub people off from the do not call list and scrub them? What are the 2 systems that you named?
Datafinder.com.
Okay.
That scrubs it. It's probably one of the best out there.
Okay,
so
perfect.
Data Finder and Data 24/7. Those
Data
2.
24/7. Okay, cool. So this is the part that's big data, guys. Honestly, not very many people understand this whole process to effectively do what I call an air, sea, and land. Like, that's what you're talking about, James, is you're attacking these potential sellers from all angles. And I think it's lovely. It's brilliant. Can we get into the plan now?
Yes. That's the thing, man. Success is about setting up the right foundation because it makes the action plan super easy. Once you have the data, once you have it cleaned, once you have it validated, and actually now you have that data with accuracy, like almost 80% accuracy. Now you go and sync it. So for instance, your mobile phone, right?
Yep.
I want those 6,000 people on your mobile phone. How do you do that? Use iCloud or Google Contacts. It's free. You upload that up there on Google Contacts or iCloud. All these 6,000 contacts come to your phone because your phone has your Gmail or iCloud, right?
Yep.
Then you need to sync it all across platforms, meaning your CRM, your social media, channels, any other different platform that you have, like, channels are your like your web, your Google Contacts, your social media, the devices too. So your mobile phone, your desktop.
And this is how you take a list of people you don't know and get connected with them on LinkedIn and connected with them in Facebook.
This is what I'm getting to.
Yes.
Once you have that contact information, all these contacts, 6,000 contacts in your Google Contacts and in your phone, you go on LinkedIn, all these people will get suggested to you as friends. You go on Instagram, all these people will get suggested to you as friends. What you're doing, you're connecting, you're liking, you're engaging with potential sellers and buyers for free. Yes. You're not doing any paid ads. And what we're doing, we're tricking all the social media platforms by saying, all these 6,000 people are my friends.
Right.
And they're on my phone. So when I go to these platforms, Instagram say, you may also know John Smith sellers down the road. Right. And they'll give you their LinkedIn or their Instagram or their Facebook. So you'll start seeing your potential buyers and sellers everywhere you turn. And that's why this data is so critical to be clean And when you put it in your phone, it's there. So when a potential seller calls you, their name comes up. You don't need to say hello anymore. Oh, hi, John. They're like, oh, wow. Yeah, thank you very much. You know, I've been following you. I've been engaging with you. I know who you are. The seller will be impressed. No real estate agent ever called the potential seller by name just by them calling them for the first time. So the seller will feel special when you call them by name. The next thing I want to talk about is PieSync. So use PieSync to sync all your platforms, all your channels with your CRM, with your email marketing. It's highly critical. You have all these 6,000 contacts in your CRM, in your email marketing, all social media, everywhere. Because then this is your farm. This is who you want to turn into clients. So you're saying, here's my list. This is what I want clients, and you go after it. Not like, I don't know who my clients are. I'm just going to go ahead and spend a lot of money on marketing and hopefully get 2 clients. You're taking your clients ahead of time. You're basically fast forwarding, figuring out who your potential clients are, and then you're backtracking the process. Does this make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. How would I sync all of that up? I mean, is that a virtual assistant job, or is there a technology platform that would help? Because that syncing is such a big, it can be a big job.
Yes. Real estate agents don't have to do any of this. Okay. The real estate agent need only to talk to people that are qualified. So once you have, I'm going to speed up this a little bit. So once you have the data, right, and you put it on Google Contacts and syncs into your phone, and you go to social media and they start suggesting to you the information. I mean, on LinkedIn, you can upload your contacts. On Facebook, you can sync your contacts. On Instagram, you go to the settings and also sync your contacts. So there are a little bit of different steps to sync your contacts across all channels, devices, and platforms, right?
But that's a virtual assistant job.
I created this book because all this information, I can't cover it over 1 hour at Starbucks with a real estate agent. That's why it's highly critical for people to read the book. I mean, it's 20 years of experience in here. Yeah. And the tactics are not like everyday things you see on YouTube or social media. These are original information that I've learned over the years.
Right.
So you have everything synced. PieSync.com.
PieSync.
PieSync.com.
Okay.
This is the platform that syncs everything together. Now you have everything synced together, right?
Right.
You have the data. Now you can do anything you want. You can go do direct mail. You'll have a success with it. Why? Because the data is clear and verified, and they're potential buyers or sellers. You can do dialer if you want. Why? Because all the phone numbers are valid.
Well, and what I want you guys to do is not just call these people. I want you to have a reason to call them. You know, community parties, you know, music in the park, charity events, garage sales, pie giveaways, you know, like all the good things that you can call, you know, folks in your database, in your community. So you can call them, just have great reasons to call them.
Yes. And to be honest with you, I personally tell my clients, call, don't sell. Say, hey, my name is James Tyler. I'm a real estate agent in your area. I came across your information. I just wanted to introduce myself and leave my information should you need anything.
Yes.
Can I please leave my information with you? Sure. Can I follow up with you next week or next month?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
Very, very smooth introduction. You just introduce yourself and that's it. You're not selling. It's not illegal to call someone, introduce yourself. You know, you're just saying, hey, I'm a real estate agent. I came across your information online. I saw you on Facebook, saw you on LinkedIn. Just calling to introduce myself and leave my phone number should you need anything. Boom. Done.
And by the way, there's this awesome community event. Could I add you to my email list, or could I add you to from time to time, I come across great deals. There's a lot of opportunity when you're having those intro calls.
Just don't start qualifying.
Don't ask them.
That's what I tell my, you know, you want to qualify, you want to close deals, but don't do that. Don't start qualifying on people on the first call. So once you have the information, you can do so many things with it because the data is accurate, right?
Right.
The one thing that I always tell my clients to do is actually go and use like the demand base or Choosel, like paid advertisement platforms where you can upload, because right now Facebook doesn't let you upload custom audience if you're in real estate or mortgage because of, you know, the privacy issue that they had. But either way, you don't have to stop there. There are other platforms where you can actually do display ads and native ads and video ads where you upload those 6,000 people to. All you need to upload is an email and phone number, either or both.
Yep.
And that platform will match the email or phone number to these people's devices. So pay like large publishers or large advertising firms, they have all that data. They have the emails and phone numbers. But for security purposes and legal issues, they don't keep that data. So they match emails into like a device ID. So they need to advertise to a device ID, not an email.
Right.
So once you upload the email and phone number, they match those information with device IDs. And now you have all these 6,000 people, phones, devices, desktops, MacBooks, whatever their devices they're on, you can display ads all over. That's why when you visit like a webpage or whatever, now you see ads everywhere. That's how they do it. People always ask me, how did they do it? That's how they do it.
I love it.
You take the right information, you upload it to a company like Choozle.com, and then it's called CRM targeting or, interest-based advertising. So that's where you go. And you start advertising to those 6,000 people only.
Well, okay, James, this is why I wanted to have you on our show, and we might have to have you back. Guys, if you haven't got this book, I got it, killed it. I read the whole freaking thing in like a day because it was so good. And I know that's weird, but I'm just a nut and I love this kind of stuff. James, if somebody wanted to learn more or go deeper with you or find out, how to because, hearing you talk about it, you've done it so many times. Sometimes it's good to just go out and pay a guy to help, So what do you think the best next steps for somebody would be to take, and how would somebody get in touch with you?
Dominate.realestate, www.dominate.realestate. They can get a hold, there's a text James on there. They can get a hold of me. They can text me at 949-229-2636. They can call me. They can go to my other website, jamestyler.com. They can just Google James Tyler Dominate Real Estate. I'm all over the web. So I'd love to help.
What do you think that when people come and do this with you, like go through this step-by-step process, how long does it take them to see results? You'll start seeing results in 90 days.
Yeah. Yes. If everything goes well, 90 days, you should see results, because this entire process takes about 30 days to 45 days. And by the time you start qualifying and getting the leads in the door, it takes about 90 days to start closing deals.
And that, and basically once you get in a contract, then it's another 60 days to close. So you're looking at a ramp up period of 5 to 6 months before you start.
It takes 45 days to set up everything, and then you start getting leads. So you start closing deals in 90 days. So you start making commission checks within 90 days.
Okay. I love that. And and we're only got a couple more minutes, and I know people are loving this and it's a great topic, but what are some of the mistakes people would make if they try to do this themselves that you'd like them to avoid?
So avoid doing this yourself. Hire a professional, hire a virtual assistant. This is a step-by-step. You don't need me to do it for you. That's why I wrote this. But somebody can literally follow the tactics that I'm about to give you in this session. What you don't want to do, you don't want to do everything yourself as a real estate agent, right? You want to know, like read the book. Know what somebody is going to do for you. If you're going to hire someone, make sure that you understand what they're doing. Make sure you understand how the data process works, all the data collection, verification, validation, sanitization, normalization. Like, know what that means. Know how long it takes so you have the right expectation. And don't try to do everything yourself. Prospecting, you don't even need to do that yourself. Hire an ISA. Hire, a virtual assistant to do the prospecting for you. Make sure somebody sets up your funnel. Make sure somebody sets up your email drip campaigns. Make sure somebody sets up all these different things for you, right? Hire a virtual assistant to do that. Hire a virtual assistant to do the qualification for you. As a real estate agent, all I want you to do is, take the lead that's ready to actually sit down with you. So a virtual assistant should do all this, plus setting up the appointment for you. Like, you should be like, hey, John, realtor, I'm your ISA. I have an appointment set up for you tomorrow, at 10 a.m. with this potential buyer or this potential seller.
Yep.
Boom. You should be out on appointments, taking care of business, closing deals, and helping people. You shouldn't really dabble with Facebook ads and data and analytics and all this. Leave the professionals to do that. Hire 2 or 3 virtual assistants to do all this work for you and just be out on appointments. That's the best advice I can give.
We have to drop the mic right there, James, because you're kicking butt. If you're listening right now and you wanted to go deeper, we've put links in for James's book, Dominate Real Estate, and I feel like we only scratched the surface. So we're gonna have to have you back. I'm sure there's a lot of topics we can talk about.
The free gift is the tactics on the website on Dominate Real Estate. 60 some pages long. I think you've seen it, Daniel.
I downloaded it because I read the book and I was like, okay, I need that, and I thought it was great.
Yeah, it's already 300 some 60 80 pages on the book, so I had to make it's literally another book of strategies and tactics that you can literally start executing now. It's free. It's on the website. This is why I want to help. I want to show you I want to help. People charge tons of money for this stuff. Trust me. I'm giving to them for free. Go to the website, download it. It's literally free. And I'm not going to call you or sell you or anything. And I won't put you on a annoying day-by-day email marketing campaign like most people do. Just go, download it, execute, and 949-229-2636. Call me if you have any questions. Would love to help.
All right, James. Thanks for having coming on the show and sharing all this knowledge. Guys, if you're listening and you need help, you need a virtual assistant, jump on our website, myoutdesk.com. And James, you are dominating real estate. So I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thanks for having me on, Daniel.
All right, brother. Bye.
Take care. Goodbye.